Pleased to say John joins us now. And John, it's striking the tension, the pressure, the kettle-like situation that we're experiencing in that report for one tank and 3 people. And this is a front line that's 750 miles long. This has been replicated time and time and time and time again.
Yeah, that's right, Gareth. And you know what? That was just the beginning of it. I mean, that happened shortly after we arrived. And if you watch the rest of the film, you'll get a sense of just how tense it was, just how, it was unbearable at times. Very, very intense. They're operating in a very small, claustrophobic place, just sleeping behind it as well. They can't really go outside because of the drones. It's there's no escape from it. It's a very intense place to be. And I mean, you could see from that tank attack that, and I think the stories, including this tank attack, it goes to show how the front line has changed, how this war has changed in a relatively short period of time. You know, the stuff that we saw a couple of years ago, the front line, the trench lines, but the troops in the trenches, the artillery behind, that's all gone now. The war has changed. And I would argue that the future of warfare has also changed. And a big part of that is down to the use of drones, which are deadly. I mean, they are the principal means of attack now. They're very adaptable. You can do all sorts of things with them. And you could see in that clip that we just played that they use them as a loudspeaker to guide people to safety. But they do all sorts of things with them. And perhaps most importantly, they're cheap. They're highly cost effective, and you can send out swarms of them. And that means that things that we've seen on the battlefield for 80 years, like the tank, like armored personnel carriers, they're practically useless now. I mean, they use them in Ukraine now like snipers. They hide them in trees and then they pop them out to attack. And we saw in that clip that we just watched a real illustration of the vulnerabilities they face. I mean, they do offer a lot of concentrated firepower and with drones that they now use as bombers. They can't quite do the same as tanks, so you can see why they still try to use tanks. But everything's changing, and it's changing very quickly.
This phase of the conflict, because many say you can trace it back to 2014, but this full-scale invasion phase, it's pushing almost 4 years, John, since this all began in February 2022. And we're seeing footage of single tanks, individual soldiers being hunted down one after another with drones on both sides. I wonder, from your time in that underground bunker, your sense of the stress, the fatigue that is on the faces and the bodies and the minds of those that are prosecuting this war, because it is at an intensity that is just unmatched.
Yeah, it's completely unrelenting. And one of the really critical advantages that Russia has is it has far more personnel, has far more men at its disposal. I remember speaking to the commander in the control room while we were there, and I said, look, what do you need? What do you want from the West? What do you want from Britain? And he started off by saying, you mean aside from personnel, aside from soldiers? And, we spend a lot of time in this film looking at what drones can do. But you've got to come back to the end point, which is they don't have enough people. And they need those people. Those people are occupying little holes in the kill zone or the gray zone or the dead zone. People call it different names, but they're occupying these little foxholes. They are holding territory for Ukraine, or they're in ruins. And the Russians are doing the same in the same stretch of land. It's become very complicated. It's also become very deadly. What the Russians have stopped doing, Gareth, is that they've stopped doing these mass attacks where hundreds of thousands of Russian troops get killed. Not even they can sustain those type of losses, the type of losses that are now inevitable because of the use of drones. They've stopped it. So you've got a very, very different picture on the front. I think what this technology offers Ukraine is an advantage in the sense that it supplements their personnel on the ground. They've got extra eyes, they've got extra attackers through the use of drones. They can do more things that a smaller group of people can do. But Matt, do they need more people in that unit freedom force? And that was the first thing the commander said.
John, good to have you with us.